which is plentiful. June and July are very full and abundant of all sorts of activities. And the first one's going to be on Tuesday evening. Miss Deborah Valentina, who was one of the greeters today, welcoming you in, is going to be doing a talk and also photos from her trip to China that she did almost about a month and a half ago now. So please join us. That's going to be Tuesday evening at 6:30. And Deborah's there in the back if you'd like to see who she is, if you're not familiar and if you're new here. And then on Saturday, we have Powerful or Powerless, which is our meeting of our circle that we gather together that combines the 12-step spiritual principles along with the science of mind principles. So we do this twice a month, and you can be in a 12-step group or not, or in any of them. It doesn't matter. We welcome all, and that starts at 10:30. And is it 10 or 10:30? 10. Not here, okay. It starts at 10 and goes till 11:30. So please join us on Saturday for that. And that's orchestrated by Reverend Diane. And then we have a healing circle that's going to be the following Thursday. This is going to be with the Reverends. It's a time for us to come and gather together. There's meditation, there's music. It's an opportunity for an evening of healing. And for here, healing means revealing. So we just come and whatever it is that we are needing to let go of, we create a space where we can let go of that in our own way, in a quiet, silent meditation way, and then we fill up with everything that we are wanting. So it's a beautiful evening that will have music as well, and that'll be June 22nd. Like I said, lots happening. We also have gotten our new shipment of the book, The Game of Life. I know some folks have been waiting for that to come in because it sold out really quickly. This is by Florence Shin. It's a great book, and there's also going to be a one-time workshop that the Reverends are going to do on June 27th, so a couple of weeks from now. But definitely you want to snag your copy because they are going fast, and they'll probably sell out again. And you will definitely want to have it for the class itself. Whew! But that's only June. We've got July, and July is when we celebrate our 4th year here on Kauai. Yes. So it is a big deal. We're going to have a big party, and that party is not going to take place here. It's actually going to be at Lidgate Big Pavilion, and that's going to be on July 9th. So we will keep announcing that because, we get used to coming to the same place, and we're going to change it up on you because we have a really big celebration that we'll do that day. Now, something that's different that we're going to do that we haven't done the previous birthdays is actually hold a silent auction to help raise money for the center. Because as this time of year is happening, we're also doing what we're calling retilling the soil. And that's to really help whatever the center is needing in regards to, like, we want to get new curtains, some more chairs, we want to paint the wall, and we're going to actually have a wall where it's going to be all the people who participate in this givingness. During this time, we are going to have, just like our Faith Lift Angels, we're going to have a wall, and it's going to be all garden related. It was a theme a couple of months ago, and we're continuing with that theme as Here We Grow Again. So there's the campaign that we're doing for that. We have the big party, and then, of course, we're going to have a huge, huge time with the Reverends doing their cabaret. And they did it last year. If you were here for it, it was really fabulous. So this is version 2. It's Love Notes 2, and it's going to be a musical evening. This space will be transformed into a cabaret. It is going to be a wonderful evening with a poo-poo buffet, some drinks. Tickets are already on sale, and they're only on sale by advanced. So tickets will not be sold at the door. They need to be done in advance. And the 2 dates for that are the 13th and the 14th of July. So you'll be hearing more about that, but you're also going to see these cards. So if you know anybody who may not come to the center, please feel free to take these cards. They're on our information table, the welcome table, probably some on the bookstore. They're kind of everywhere. So please take some and hand them and share with your friends and invite your friends. It'll be also great if you have a place where you can post these. That's helpful as well, just to get the word out because it's something that's going to be a lot of fun, and we definitely want to have everybody involved. Now that's July. So thank you so much for your kind attention with everything we have going on. Feel free to read your pamphlet as well. And then I'd like to introduce Reverends Rita and Patrick.
Aloha. Thank you so much. Wow.
She does that so well.
Yes, yes, she does. I'm out of breath every time that she... And then it reminds me of everything that we are doing here and that we are indeed growing.
All right, so we take a moment at the beginning of our service to light our peace candle, to take a moment of silence together, knowing as we... You did it again. That's part of the cabaret act, but no, just... All right, we'll start all over. Let's take a deep breath together.
I'm glad I'm me at times like this.
So anyway, let's take a moment as we take that laughter and let it bubble up in our hearts and know that that thing called peace is right where we are. And as we remember that peace within ourselves, that joy that we just felt, that radiates out into our world. And it does start with us. So let's just take a moment of silence for peace. And so it is. It's interesting because we do have to ground ourselves to walk up here. Sometimes we just come flying up.
What I love about it, because I'm about as transparent as you can get. If you've been here, if you're here for the first time, you'll get to know that about me. But it's just very funny because you can be so like in the moment of, I'm going to light this bowl. And you're just like, wow, life is so full, right?
So
Wow.
before we go on, we have a special presentation. We have some students who have just completed Practitioner 1 training. They're getting ready to go into Practitioner 2 next year, and we want to present them with their certificates today and also a little gift from us. And they are Michelle LeMay. Hey.
Yes.
And Stephanie Starrett. Where are you, Stephanie?
Stephanie.
Stephanie, I know you're here. There you are.
There she is.
And what this means, if you're not familiar with our teaching, a practitioner is a person who is licensed and trained and then licensed in the art of spiritual mind treatment and holding a consciousness of wholeness for whoever they're working with. So these lovely women over here are on that path, and they've been working on it now for up to, I think, about 3 years, so almost. Yeah, so they're ready to go into their last year before they actually go into licensing. So we want to present them with their certificates. Patrick?
Yes.
Yeah.
So Michelle LeMay and Stephanie Starr. We have our photographer over there.
And a gift from Patrick.
Is this on? Can you hear me? Okay.
And they thought they were done reading.
And the test on that will be next Friday.
No, actually, that book is just a gift that will really help you on your journey. So, all right. I want to give you a hug.
There you go.
Okay. And
Yeah, it's quite a commitment. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. So, all right.
So before we get started with that, before you tell them why we're here and what this is all about, I do want to introduce our wonderful artists here. Maria, Christina, and Bren over there. And right behind the sound is Jonathan and a whole bunch of other things.
Great. And if you are here for the first time and you're not familiar with what we do here, we are a Science of Mind and Spirit New Thought Center. And we practice the science of mind and spirit, which is just a universal teaching that just says that that divine expression, that source of all creation, that power and energy, that one thing, there's only one, no matter what we call it, resides right where we are. And as we look out from that place, we create a better world, we see through those eyes of God, through those eyes of light, through those eyes of source, that we create a better world by doing that. We look into the eyes of other people, and we see that no matter what's going on in their life or what they might be doing, there's still that expression of love. There's still that expression of peace. They might not know it in that moment, but the more that we can know it and the more that we can look from those eyes, the more things change. So, and that's kind of about what today is about. Our topic is mirror, mirror on the wall. Anyway,
Yes.
so, yeah.
And who is here for the very first time? We know who you are, so there's no way to escape because we put little shells around your neck just in case. Hello!
Can you please stand
Can
up?
you please stand up because we have some information about you that we're going to share with everyone. Are you ready? Okay, let me get my notes because they just came in this morning. And shall we? You are magnificent. Yes,
are
but you knew
magnificent.
that. And here's the deal. We know that about ourselves, so that's how we know it about you. So let's all say it together, shall we? I am magnificent. And then if you will look over into that camera where the wonderful cameraman, Rob, is standing, there's a whole bunch of people eavesdropping, looking in on our center here today, and they are all over the place. And we have a special person, Cassie, with Natalie, said that she's being introduced to us for the first time today. So let them know, all of them, that you are magnificent. And can everybody stand, because I have something very different and special for, can everybody stand? Because we have somebody in our audience who's probably not going to like the fact I'm going to do this, but we have a very special person who is standing right now, and with my eyes filled, it's Janice. Janice is in the back here. And we love you. Look at you. Shall we tell her? You are magnificent. There we go. All right,
my
so
God.
let's keep it. Let's make it happen here. Yeah.
Remember, please stand and sing
Everybody
with us.
just keep standing up. Our opening
Remember.
song, magnificent.
Just who you are, oh remember. You're a being of the stars, oh remember. The wisdom within, oh remember. All the joy you can bring, oh remember. You are of this earth, oh remember. All that you are worth, oh remember. All that you know, remember. Seeds take time to grow. Remember, remember all that you are. Remember, remember, remember the power of love.
And what I remember in this moment, right here and now, is that we have all come here on purpose, on divine purpose. There are no accidents in the mind of good. We have come here to remember who we are, and that is good itself. And I know as I look back at Janice, knowing that this is what happens when you have the power of love that allows all things to unfold easily and effortlessly and lovingly. And I know that each and every one of us has this power within us to use in our world, to use it from us. No separation. The wholeness of spirit right here, right now. Call it whatever you want. It needs no name because it is all names. So knowing that, I just say yes. Yes, mahalo, mahalo, mahalo. As together as one in consciousness we say, and so it is.
Remember just who you are, oh remember. You're a being of the stars, oh remember. The wisdom within, oh remember. All the joy you can bring, oh remember. You are of this earth, oh remember. All that you are worth, oh remember. All that you know, remember. Seeds take time to grow. Remember, remember
So beautiful. Well, as we're settling back into our seats, I'll bring us into a time of meditation. And I'd like to mention, Janice's name was mentioned, but for those of you who may not know Janice, she's our youth director here at CSL and is making a recovery from an accident that happened. So this is our first time seeing her. So when you saw the excitement, for those who have no idea, that's what it's for. So we've just been knowing her high is good, and we're very excited that she's back and has returned. Yes. Thank you for coming. And as you're settling into your seat for this inner time that we're going to take for a few minutes, I invite you to get comfortable, however that is for you. If you want to put your feet on the floor, if it feels comfortable to close your eyes or leave them open, whichever for you. Whatever feels most comfortable to go in. And if you'd like, I have a seed thought, which is a quote from Ernest Holmes. If you'd like to take this into your meditation, please feel free to do so. Life is a mirror and will reflect back to the thinker what he thinks into it. Life is a mirror and will reflect back to the thinker what he thinks into it. Life is a mirror and will reflect back to the thinker what he thinks into it. Knowing that this inner space that we are in can always be gone back to. It is always here within us because I know that God is everything, everywhere, all the time. It is omnipotent, and its omnipresence permeates everything with its goodness, its love. Whether you call it spirit, God, universe, it is all the same and it is always here. And I know, and I speak for myself, that as Michelle, God comes through and shows up as a divine expression. And I know that for each and every one of us here in the center, that we are God showing up as God. And that this life that is a mirror reflects our consciousness of love, of absolute perfect health, abundant finances, beautiful creative expression, and of course, harmonious relationships. Knowing that all this is reflected back to us because this is what we think into it. So that is what shows up in our life now and now and now. For all we have is right now. And I'm so grateful for the knowingness, for the spirit, for the mirror that reflects my life and all of ours in this room. As I release this word into a law that can only say yes and does say yes and wants to say yes, because it can only say yes, I release it and get out of the way of the house as we say together, and so it is.
Please let's sing together.
It's in your program. The chant.
Let the way of the heart, let the way of the heart, let the way of the heart shine through. Let the way of the heart, let the way of the heart, let the way of the heart shine through. Love upon love upon love. All hearts are beating as one. Light upon light upon light. Shining as bright as the sun. So let the way of the heart, let the way of the heart, let the way of the heart shine through. Let the way of the heart, let the way of the heart, let the way of the heart shine through.
Mahalo.
Thank you, everyone. I'm on now. What a day. Yeah, talking about demonstrations, I can't go without looking at these two people back here, Malia and Dave Reed. Please just stand up for a minute. Malia's, they are back. I don't know who knows them or if you didn't know them, but they are members of our center who left the island, and when they left, all they wanted to do was come back, and through the power of love and spiritual mind treatment, they find themselves back here more glorious than ever, so we're just grateful to have them back. Thank you. As our practitioner intern too, Malia, so yeah. There is something really fantastic that we get to do, and that's to know the truth for ourselves and for each other. And when I say the truth, know that we are that power and light and energy of God that we're talking about, that one thing which sings and sings through all of creation, is who we are. And there's no denying it. And once we can think from that place, once we can really get it and really stop looking to the outside for our validation and go within and realize we're the one that's creating that outside, everything changes. And today is about mirror, mirror on the wall. Who's the fairest of them all? Yeah, you are. You are all the fairest of them all. Thank you, Patrick. So we're kind of focusing, we're not kind of, I don't know, I keep saying kind of. We're focusing on fairy tales and myths and legends this month because they have so much power in them. They are the basically messages that are given to us throughout the ages that really say the same thing and all over again. They tell us the story of ourselves. And if we can look at them that way, metaphorically and metaphysically, we can see all kinds of wonderful things that we can gather from them and take into our lives. And the story what we're focusing on today is Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs. And it just so happens that Florence Shinn has a whole metaphor for that. And I took a little bit about what she said. Florence Shinn is the one that wrote that book that we were selling in the bookstore, although this part of it is not in that book. About she calls her the cruel stepmother and, you know, Snow White and the dwarves and the whole gang. So this cruel stepmother, I hate that word, the cruel stepmother, right? She keeps looking in the mirror, right? And she keeps asking who's the fairest of them all. She keeps asking the same question over and over, and she keeps getting the same answer, you are. But she never really does believe it, right? How many times do we keep asking the same question and get the answer, but we don't really believe it? And we keep looking to the outside for our answer. And then finally, the mirror says something else to her. The mirror says, Snow White's the fairest of them all, right? And I like to think of that, and you can all have your own interpretation. That's what's so beautiful about the Bible and legends and myths is we can all come up with our own interpretation. So hopefully mine will help you think of maybe what yours is. So this is just mine. And I was thinking, okay, so she finds out that Snow White is the fairest of them all. And I think, well, if I think of Snow White as a metaphor, I think of something pure, right? I think of something perfect. I think of something that's never been touched by anything before. And I think that that is what my true self is. So she's being told that that's who's the fairest of her of it all is her true self, that Snow White thing, that beautiful, perfect thing that's never been touched by anything. And then what do we do sometimes? We hear the truth, but then we don't want to believe it, and so that we go out and we try to destroy it. We try to, the old thoughts, the things that are playing on our mind come up and haunt us, and things that we, you know, those things, that question we kept asking, get the answer and didn't believe, they just keep coming up, and we start to believe in what we see instead of what really truly is who we are. I really don't know what it's going to take. This teaching is very, what's the word, stringent in what it says in that, and it's not just this teaching, it's been said over and over again, that we are what we think. We are, and it's a really hard thing to sometimes accept. But when we keep pointing our finger to the outside and saying they did it to us, that is when we don't have any power at all. So Florence Shinn uses the gift of intuition. We have the gift of intuition, but we cloud it out because we don't really focus on who we truly are. We don't really focus within on that message that's within us that tells us we're the fairest of them all. So we've got this thing called intuition. She calls it all those little birds and animals that were like telling Snow White that she wasn't really lost and took her to the Seven Dwarfs' house and made sure she was okay. Florence Shinn calls them hunches, and those things that we get that say the truth to us, but we don't listen necessarily, and sometimes we do. And in the story of Snow White, when the birds tried to tell her not to eat the poison apple, she ate it anyway. How many times do we do that? It's like endless, right? They're like, don't do it, don't do it, don't do it, and she does it anyway. So, but then there's also the Seven Dwarfs. I love the Seven Dwarfs. You know, in the real story, the real fairy tale, they didn't really have any names. So Walt Disney gave them all those names. So I'm not going to focus on those names. I'm going to make up my own names for them. But what they stand for is the protective forces of the universe, the forces that are always backing us. No matter what happens to us in life, no matter how many mistakes we make, no matter how many times we don't listen to the voice within, no matter how many times, there's still that universe that's backing us, because nothing's ever lost. And those 7 dwarfs, that backing power of the universe, the protective power of the universe is always saying yes to us. And I know for myself, many times in my life, I still fall. I mean, I fall a lot. But I always know that behind it all, I can go back to that, and I'm going to be guided back to where I need to be if I'll allow myself to do it. So I thought about the 7 dwarfs, and I thought about 7's like a number in spirituality. They have like the 7 virtues, the 7 sacraments, the 7 this, the 7 that. In the science of mind and spirit, we have the 7 attributes of God. I'm going to not look at my notes and see if I can remember what they are, because we had to memorize them for our test. Okay, there's 3 L's. One of them is life, one of them is love, one of them is light. Life, love, and light. Then there's 2 P's. There's power and peace. And then there's 2 that don't match up, but they're joy and beauty. And I add another one to them, so I make them 8 dwarfs. There's wisdom. Now, these are considered the attributes of God that were, I don't know, I think it was Thomas Troward that put them into a book somewhere and said, but what they're saying is that's who we are. Those are our protective forces. Those are our true identity. So if we can get in touch with that in our meditation and our reading and whatever we do to help ourselves to be strong, if we can get in touch with that part of ourselves, the beauty, the joy, the love, the life, the light, the power that we are, the peace, then we can work miracles. They're not even miracles. They're normicals, like I said before. There is no such thing as a miracle. They just seem like miracles because we're used to it the other way. And what I'm really getting about this whole thing, and I read this thing by Ernest Holmes, who is the founder of Science of Mind and Spirit, if you don't know who he is, that we have this thing called spiritual mind treatment that we do, which really is any form of healing that we're doing. It really is the same thing because it's done unto us as we believe. And it's getting us in touch with who we truly are. And he says, we got to keep doing it until it happens. Whatever that is in our life that we want to make to change, whether it's a healing, a physical healing, a financial healing, a healing in a relationship, whatever it is, we have to keep knowing the truth. We have to be vigilant in it. We have to never give up, no matter what it looks like, and not keep asking the mirror to tell us what it is, but to realize that we are the person looking into the mirror, and we're seeing what it is we believe in. In the story, at the very end, the cruel stepmother apparently in the Grimm's fairy tale dances herself into madness and dies. And in the Walt Disney movie, I think she dies in a powerful storm. What's this saying to me is when you hold the light for yourself, those other things cannot live. They cannot live, and they will be consumed and fall into the nothingness from which they came, which was just a thought. Ernest Holmes says, take everything and boil it down to a thought. No matter what it is that's happening in your life, boil it down to a thought and heal the thought. And the only way to heal the thought is to realize that there's another thought you can embrace. Another thought that's better than that thought. That's the truth. That's the pure Snow White that you are. Whether you're a man or a woman, doesn't matter. You're Snow White. You're pure. No matter what's ever happened to you in your life, there is a part of you that has never, ever, ever been touched by anything. And that's the place, that's the healing place. The place that doesn't know all this other stuff. And so I'd like to, before we go into our song, I'd just like to, for us to just, if we feel comfortable, just to close our eyes for a moment and bring something up that we've been thinking about, or but that we've been holding, that seems like something we want to let go of. And just know that right here, what I know in my mind is that whatever that is, and it's individual to each and every person, that wherever that thing is in the mind, there's something there called God. There's something there called spirit. There's something there called life, love, light, power, peace, beauty, joy, wisdom, all of those attributes we spoke of. That's what's really there. And it's wanting to be known. And I know right here and right now that it rises to the top of our consciousness anytime we're ready to say yes to it. And as it rises up, I know that whatever that is in each and every individual life here is brought to a place of wholeness, harmony, balance, beauty, and all that is good. And then I know that as we look out into our mirror of life, all of that is reflected back to us. And I am grateful to know it, grateful to speak my word, and grateful to know that I have a protective force called the universe, that says yes to me and makes it so. As we affirm together, and so it is.
I'm gonna make a change for once in my life. It's gonna feel so good. Gonna make a difference. Gonna make it right. As I turn up the collar on my favorite winter coat, this wind is blowing my mind. See the kids in the street without enough to eat. Who am I to be blind, pretending not to see their need? A summer's disregard, a broken bottle top, and a one-man soul. They follow each other on the wind, you know, 'cause they got nowhere to go. That's why I want you to know I'm starting with the one in the me. I'm asking her to change her ways, and no message could have been any clearer. If you want to make the world a better place, take a look at yourself and make a change. Na 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 na. I've been a victim of a selfish kind of love. It's time that I realize there are some with no home, not a nickel to loan. Could it be really me, pretending that they're not alone? A willow deeply scarred, someone's broken heart, and a washed up dream. They follow each other on the wind, you know, 'cause they got no place to go. That's why I want you to know I'm starting with the one in the mirror. I'm asking her to change her ways, and no message could have been any clearer. If you want to make the world a better place, take a look at yourself and make a change. I'm starting with the one in the mirror. I'm asking her to change her ways, and no message could have been any clearer. If you want to make the world a better place, take a look at yourself and make a change.
Mahalo. You know, I really want to get close to say something. Thank you. We called her in the middle of the week, and Rita said, I have an idea. That happens a lot with us. And wouldn't this be a great song? And she just said, yeah, I think it'd be a great song. I'll have it ready for you. And so thank you. Thank you. Wow. That really got me very emotional. I just love, first I like bowls, and then I become emotional just because I can. This whole idea of fairy tales and fables and myths has just brought back my childhood so much. I was even laughing today about Bambi, and I never saw Bambi until I was in my 30s. Hello. Lost childhood? What was that? So, and I always thought Bambi was a girl, but that's a whole nother story. But it was very interesting as yeah, it takes a while. You'll be laughing about it when you get in your car. But that's really not what any of this is about today. This is about this mirror. Take a look at yourself. And I think that we make that very known here at the Center for Spiritual Living Kauai. At least that's been our mission here, is all we're doing is taking a look at ourselves so we can make the world a better place. So I was thinking about this idea of, Snow White and that the purity. And last week we talked about our granddaughter who decided she's no longer a princess because she's a queen. And we all learned that Patrick knows how to twirl a dress very nicely and to own it. So this week I really worked on owning my life, owning who I am, owning all that I am. So I was thinking about where can I go with this whole idea, and once again I'm back to the queen. Because, or king, however you want to look at it. And I took a really good look at this thing called the evil queen. Wow. What a label. What a label to be called an evil queen. And I have this wonderful thing that I stumbled upon. And it says, the evil queens are just the princesses that were never saved. And that tugged down to the very, very core of my being. She's looking in the mirror. Please tell me who I am. I don't know about you, but how many of you like looking in the mirror? I mean, yeah. There's that one of you, I'd like you to come up. And I'll tell you why the problem with the mirror. Congratulations. Brother Jesus has entered the room. And I really want to say thank you for that, because that's called owning it. And I like looking in the mirror sometimes, but see, it all depends on what I'm focusing on when I look in it. So if I'm going to look at my perfection, or am I going to look at my nose that has a little bit of a extension? Or am I going to look at my face that's a little reddish complexion? Am I going to look at a few pounds that entered onto my frame? If I'm going to look there, I'm going to be asking a lot more questions to the mirror inside of me. And that doesn't mean that we can't fix the things of life that we do not like. But what I do know is I want to get back to this evil queen. Because what I know from the very bottom of my soul is there is not a person in this world that was born evil. Ever. I don't care what they've done. I do not care what they've done. This is how much we're programmed. We have 2 cats. Got to tell a cat story, of course. Merlin is our cat, our black cat, who we always thought was a male. Because why? Because he acted like it. But then we found out it was a female. And I wasn't about to change the name. Now, Rita suggested Merlina. And I suggested that might be a bit confusing for our little cat. But we have another cat that we labeled the evil cat. that comes on our property, and Merlin, who's very gentle, but will kick your butt if you get into the territory. I saw them fighting, and I went, oh, there's the evil cat, Rita. It's on there. And then our little calm Merlin changes personality, and then you don't know who's evil because they're but get out of here, and they're doing this whole thing. And I thought to myself, maybe the cat is scared, the other one that keeps trying to get. Maybe that cat lived there before this cat. Maybe it's its home. But I got all into, that's my cat, that's evil, that's good. And I thought, wow, take a good look in the mirror. So I was looking at this whole idea of that these little princesses and princes that little boys and little girls who got a message. We have a few in politics. And I'm not afraid to say that because, I don't know, I founded the church, and if they want to throw us out, they can. But I'm talking about something else, something deeper than that. All I can see are little boys and little girls in oversized suits. They're little boys that we forgot to save. They're the bullies that we're so busy focusing upon the victims that we forgot how in the hell did those bullies get to be where they are now? Where was the evil queen as she kept looking in the mirror and seeing something ugly, and people kept saying, you're evil, you're evil, you're evil, and then they say, you haven't even begun to see what evil is. And I began to wonder, how much of the creation have I participated in? These fairy tales knock you out, man. You start getting into them, man, you're like, what? I have to believe that even the evil things, we call them evildoers. And I can almost wrap around that a little bit more, because sometimes we do things that do not appear to be so good. But I have to change my ways. And I mean this. I've got to stop thinking my world has evil in it. There is only one power. One power, and it is for good. Now, if I take that power and I misuse it, that doesn't mean there is an evil power. That means you took a force and you used it for something besides good. Great. Enter forgiveness. Enter forgiveness. Yeah. I'm fired up now. Michael Beckles will be here in just a moment. And I'm letting you know that this is such good news, he bounces. It is such good news. That means we can stop hating ourselves. Stop pretending that they did it, because like Rita said, all of our power is now gone. So what do? Do you just let people get away with it? No, but just stop thinking that they're evil, that they live on some evil mountain that they're pulling all their power from. They're scared. Anybody that can do the horrendous things that have happened in this world could not have been happy. They had to be to the deepest part of hating themselves that allowed them ever do the horrendous things that have happened. But we have got to let go. We've got to let love now. We've got to take back our kingdom. We've got to take back our kingdom. I heard a quote today. It's like, stop looking at the news and start making some. Let's make some news, some new news. Wow. Evil queen, man. Behind that, is this beautiful, beautiful little girl that says, if I'm mean enough, then you won't hurt me. Thumper, good old Thumper from Bambi says this. He says, I know what to do when something scares me. You just be scarier than that. How's that been working for us? Boo, boo. And that's what it is. If I can kick your butt on the playground, then you'll never find out that I'm scared and that mommy and daddy didn't love me the way I needed to be loved, and that I feel ugly and I feel scared and I feel vulnerable and I feel open. That's what would happen. So I'm going to start a new kingdom, the kingdom of now. And I'm going to work on it, and it's going to take a moment or two. It's going to take a moment or two. It is so easy to look out at you right here and right now and be in love. It is so beautiful to watch artists perform. I can fall in love with that. That's our backbone. Can you fall in love with our brothers and sisters who are not acting in the way that we really want them to act? And I know for an absolute spiritual fact that as long as I keep doing it, I am feeding the monster, and I am going to take responsibility. I am no longer going to blame my outside conditions, because as long as I feed them and fire up on my news and my Yahoo every day, and this is happening today, and this is happening today, and I get and then all of a sudden I go, God, my stomach's burning. It's because I ate the poison apple. You know, there's a reason why it was red with all the other stuff in it. You know, it's like the not so colored one. It's tempting, isn't it? They want the apple that's red and, ooh, it's so delicious until you bite into it. And then you realized all those people that we thought from childhood up that were poisoning us, we poisoned ourselves. But you are in good hands today with Mr. FEren, because I have the antidote for all poison. Love. It's our only Savior. Last week I said, I couldn't save you. We have to save ourselves. Love is the most powerful antidote. And I don't care what happens. You use that love, and I'm talking about everyone. As Rita said one time, until we can see the face of God in everyone, then we will never be free. I see the face of God right here and right now looking at every one of you. I am inviting us to please give some love to those that appear unlovable. There's nothing worse than a feeling of being unlovable. It's not fair. And I know that you are all the fairest of them all. Namaste.
Oh. Yeah. Good.
Wow, it's kind of like we had a great
it's so
dinner.
simple. I mean, it's so
Good.
simple, right? We keep saying it's love, and it is. It's so simple. So this is our time of loving giving. And as we give our gifts today, of consciousness, of finances, whatever they are, however much they are, they're coming from the heart. That's the most important thing. And knowing that they're going and they're doing good, not just here at this center, but in the world. So we thank you in advance. We thank the people online that support us, and everyone that supports this thing called Center for Spiritual Living Kauai. Mahalo nui loa. As we read the affirmation in our program together, Divine love consecrates my gift. It goes forth to heal, prosper, and bless. It is evidence of my conviction that God is the source and substance of my supply. I know today, knowing that it returns to me multiplied abundantly. And so it is.
So blessed, I am so blessed, I am so grateful for all that I have. I am so blessed, I am so blessed, I am so grateful for all that I have. I am so blessed, I am so blessed, I am so grateful for all that I have. I am so blessed, I am so blessed, I am so grateful for all that I have. I am so blessed, I am so blessed, I am so grateful for all that I have. I am so blessed, I am so blessed, I am so grateful for all that I have. I am so blessed, I am so blessed, I am so grateful for all that I have. I am so blessed, I am so blessed, I am so grateful for all that I have.
I would love to bless everything, all the consciousness, the love that came into these baskets and from those that it came from, as I know that this goes out to heal, prosper, and bless Centers for Spiritual Living, Kauai, and the world. And so it is.
Michelle, there you go. Okay, I don't think we have any children today, but we do have a blessing for our
a lot of children inside of us
Yeah,
today
because
that we
there's
could
children
bless.
all over the world that we can
Yes.
just hold in our hearts today and know that they are healed, prospered, and blessed, and that they have everything they could require, and that there is a place within them that is there, that protective force, that love that rises up in their circumstances and brings that forth in their lives. That's what I know, and that's what I claim as we affirm together. And so it is.
And if you notice that Glenn and Marion were up here with their little bags putting in the change here, this is our building fund for our future here. So we start always right where we're at. And so we have this wonderful, wonderful jar filled with change. And so when you get change, just drop it in, just like kids. And before you know it, we'll have a beautiful, beautiful, beautiful future. In the meantime, we're doing very well with it, so thank you. Mahalo.
I think the last time we put it in the bank, it's 700 something, so that's pretty good for change, right?
I used to love to
To
count
start.
it when I was a kid, but those days have changed. I really changed.
So if something's come up for you during the service and you would like to have the opportunity and the blessing to have a spiritual mind treatment live here, Deborah Vandate, where are you? There she is. Our practitioner here is, it will be up here for a few minutes after service to hear your, whatever it is you want to know the truth about. And we also have a treatment box in the back of the room where you can write your what you would like to know about your life, and we will pray on it during the week. And if you want to know more about spiritual mind treatment, ask any of us practitioners here. Deborah, myself, Patrick, Malia, Roseanne, Rob, they all can fill you in on what spiritual mind treatment is. And if I left anybody out, please forgive me. So with that being said, I think we're ready.
We're ready.
Yeah.
Let's all
So-
stand. Let's have our wonderful...
Thank you so
song.
much for bringing your consciousness here today, for sure.
Love is all around me, below and above. I'm so
So here we are at the end of this beautiful time together and at the beginning of going out from here into the world with what we've received here today. And what I know about that is that I'm grateful. I'm grateful for this time that we've had together. I'm grateful for everything that's transpired here. I'm grateful for the blessing of life that flows through all of us. And I'm grateful for the amazing people that have served today and served you and served all of us. And they are Michelle, who always is beautiful with her announcements. She also did a beautiful meditation and treatment today, and now she's back in the office counting our blessings. So she had her own one-woman show today, and our greeters, Deb and Stephanie, mahalo nui loa for greeting us at the door, and to Rob over there on live stream, welcome back again, and thank you for doing that, and Jonathan on sound, thank you so much, and for also just monitoring everything in that area of technicality. And I just thank Ron Stover, who is taking care of Hospitality Day, along with Sola, right? And I don't know who else. There might be other people back there. And Loya, I guess, brought some flowers, and I'm thankful for that. I don't know where they are, but oh, there they are back there. Thank you, Loya. So many wonderful people who serve here, and Ron Stover is also doing double time over there in the bookstore. So if you want that book, he's got it for you. And Maria Christina, thank you so much for your music today. And Bryn, oh my God, thank you, thank you, thank you. Mahalo nui loa. We've been so uplifted by it all. And also to George, who stood by today for our kids. Thank you. And thank you to wonderful Janice for her ever beautiful consciousness that she holds for our children at all times. Blessings, blessings, blessings to all. I'm so grateful. I'm grateful to everybody online that was watching us, every single solitary person in this room who was here today and lifted the consciousness of the planet just by being here. So I am just going to say, and so it is.
Love is all around me, below and above. I'm so grateful to love and be loved. It's ever flowing from within. Always right here to receive and be given. I surrender in love, wide open to this love. I surrender in love all the way. I surrender in love, wide open to this love. I